Dustin Ivers. I'm with the County of San Diego's Office of Emergency Services. The Office of Emergency Services, or OES, we coordinate the county's overall response to disasters. We also work with our partner agencies to ensure that we alert, notify, and also coordinate those appropriate responding agencies once that disaster does strike. And then we ensure that resources are available and mobilized in times of a disaster. We work with various stakeholders locally here with the state and feds as well, private nonprofits, volunteers, to develop plans, policies, procedures to address the response to and the recovery from disasters, as well as develop preparedness materials for the public that we distribute. And our goal is to really make a more resilient population through knowledge, education, and providing those resources. And what we do after a disaster does strike, if something large comes through and there's homes and people that are impacted by that, we start doing the recovery thought process right in the beginning of that initial response. There'll be a lot of people coming into our emergency operations center from various departments and agencies that have different roles throughout that disaster. And while they're concentrating on the response, I'll pull away with a different team and start looking down the road at our recovery. And one of the first things we like to do for those communities that are affected is establish a local assistance center, and we call it a LAC. And the local assistance center is that centralized location where we can provide services to get people going again, to start rebuilding their lives. So we'll have different departments from the county here. We'll have state agencies, we'll have federal agencies, we'll have volunteer organizations there. And just for an example, from the Valley Fire that happened September 2020, we set up a local assistance center out in the community. And one of the departments that came was the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles from the state. And they brought in cameras, they brought in printers, they brought in computers, and they were printing people's driver's license right there on location. They were able to go to the Social Security right there in the same spot and get new Social Security cards. Go to the county records and get different county records, maybe birth certificates. They can go to the Red Cross and maybe get a debit card that can get them by for some food, or through our Health and Human Service agencies getting CalFresh cards. Other resources we like to bring to the table as quick as possible as we establish a recovery hotline. A number of that folks in the community that were affected can call and start to get some answers. Initially, when the fire's still burning, damage assessments haven't happened yet, evacuation orders and warnings are still in effect. We don't have much information at that time. So after we get damage assessments and understand which homes are impacted by the fire, and from those calls that came into us, and our call takers are able to track who called and their address and what their concerns are, we can reach back out with appropriate resources based on that person's situation that they are in. We also set up an email address where inquiries can come in. We can also distribute information via that, as well as a recovery website. And the website gets built out as the recovery goes. In the beginning, it'll just be initial information, some different things that carry over throughout disaster to disaster that remain the same, but each disaster is unique, so there's a unique recovery that goes with it, and that website gets tailored to that unique recovery, and we'll provide those resources there that people can go to. So there's no appointments necessary to go to a local assistance center. What we do is right when we decide where it's going to be at and what the hours of operation are going to be, which is usually maybe the next day after evacuation orders and warnings are lifted. We move very fast here in the County of San Diego. So we'll distribute out via our news networks, our county communications office. We'll get it out in the newspaper. I'll send it out to the affected area. We'll give pamphlets out to CAL FIRE folks and San Diego County Sheriff deputies when they're on the field, and they'll have a pamphlet or a flyer that they can hand to folks that gives them the recovery hotline, the email address, the location of the local assistance center, and the hours that it will be operating. The information will be distributed. We also put it onto our websites. We have readysandiego.org, which is a website we highly recommend folks to register at. They can get their alerts and warnings via another source. During an incident, we have multiple alert and warning platforms that we utilize based on the size, severity, and the geographic location of an incident, ranging from countywide being that emergency alert system, which a lot of folks could be familiar with when they're watching TV and all of a sudden the banner starts going by, and this is an emergency alert from the county's emergency alert system. Or it comes over an AM radio station when they start getting those tones and then the message comes through, as well as a wireless emergency alert, which is the same platform as an Amber Alert, which people are more aware of, as well as the National Weather Service utilizes it for those fast-moving critical weather events. So we also use that same technology, and that can be geolocated, where it's targeted to the cell phone towers in an area. So anybody within the vicinity of those cell phone towers driving into that area, they will get that message. But what if you're not in that area and you're on vacation maybe? You can also get alerts and warnings via the Alert San Diego if you register at readysandiego.org. On there, you can register your address, so your actual location. You provide your cell phone number, your house phone number, as well as an email address. You will get a text message, an email, and a call. If you don't have a cell phone that is WIA capable, then you might not get that wireless emergency alert. And if it's not something that's a county-wide large disaster, we're likely not going to use the emergency alert system for that. But the Alert San Diego will get to you if you register there.